Good morning YouTube. It is time for the S280 Turbo because it has finally arrived. So I want to give a big thanks to Connor and Jordan at Rsport because they've supplied this. I'm also going there for the mapping. So we're on TRS mapping at Rsport. But anyway, more on that in the future. But go follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and hit them up if you want a turbo. But anyway, Turbo Technics S280. So the turbo's in here. We'll be opening that out the shed in a bit when we get ready to put it on the car. I've got, well, this is included with the kit, so it's all the hot side pipe, basically everything you need to fit. Rsport also got me a new manifold gasket because I took my manifold off. I had an air filter off. I've also got some heat tape as well that I needed. So that's it. It is time to go fast. So what I'm going to do now is take this out the shed, unpack it, have a look what we got, and get it on the car as fast as possible. Alright, so before we start fitting, look, here's a comparison of the two turbos. You can see the 280 is much bigger on the inlet side. It's bigger on the exhaust side, but you don't want to kid yourself, this is not a big turbo by any means. To a Fiesta, this is called a big turbo, but it's still a small turbo. But if you look from above, you can see, look, exhaust turbine's a bit bigger. Let me spin them around and you can see inside. You can see the difference in there. I mean, it is much bigger, but overall size on the outside, it's not massive. It's not a big turbo, but it'll do everything we need. So what I've got to do now is swap over some plumbing for the boost solenoid. My GFB valve, dump valve, is going on the pipe work for this because there's no provision actually on the turbo. As you can see, this one is integrated on the S280. It goes in the plumbing. Show you more of that later. So what I'm going to do now is swap this over and then get ready to go in the car. Oh, the other thing, I have measured the exhaust side for the porting of my manifold. Now this is 37mm, but I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it does take a little chamfer in. What they've done is, let me change the angle for you. Let's put it like this. Right, they've done a tiny bit of machine work on the outer part, but the inside is still rough cast. So what happens is it's 37mm right at the mouth, but immediately tapers straight into 35. Now these are 35 as standard. I bought that one out to 36.1, I think. So I'm not going to do any more on the standard manifold. I'm not going to port it anymore because it's just no point. That tapers to 35 inside anyway. So yeah, it's ready to go on. So just set things up now and then it's going to be going on the car. Here we are, look at some nice child labour tightening up the Jubilee clips. Go on, you've got to pull it. Yeah, that's it. That should do him. Right, so I've got a few more to do. Once these are all clamped up and it's all done, I'll show you the final product. Well, that's pretty much everything plumbed on. The plan is, before I explain all this to you, what I'm thinking of doing is I want to drop this down through the top here and then get it down, rest the turbo on the subframe, drive shaft what I have down there, and then put the manifold on, get the manifold on, and then the turbo, and then bring that back up, bolt it onto the manifold. I don't think I'm going to get them through as one. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky with all this plumbing on, but these will bend out of the way because these are the water pipes. But can I do it? We'll see. I think it may squeeze down. If not, I may have to take this part off and put that on, but I think it'll go. But anyway, this is what I want to show you. The boost solenoid, Rsport have had some issues with these failing due to heat, so they told me to protect it. So I've got some heatproof tape which they supplied, covered it in that, and they said that has fixed them going through boost solenoids. But what I did as well, I had a bit of chrome tape, silver tape, well, foil tape really, and added some of that on top, so that should be okay. I should protect it a bit more. So the plan is now, like I said, try and get this in, and hopefully that theory works. If it don't, I'll have to start taking parts back off. Alright, let's give this a go, see if it does fit. I am not sure. Yeah, I think we'll get it down there. Might be a bit tricky. I'm gonna have to unplug that switch. Hang on. Right, well, this is not working so far. That was literally one of the worst ideas I've ever had. Got it down there, but it was turned the wrong way, and trying to turn it around was an absolute nightmare. So don't copy that, but I've got it facing the right way. So I'm going to cover that over with a rag, so nothing goes in, and then we're going to get a manifold on. If you want to know how to fit there, I strongly suggest you watch Adam Brunson's video. He's from the USA, but he's got a good video on how to fit this turbo. Don't copy anything I'm doing. Right, now I'm ready for the manifold. So that's there. We're going to bolt that up, and like I said, then hopefully put the turbo up there. So once I got the manifold on, then I'll jack the car up and get under it and do whatever I gotta do. I'm making a pig's ear of this, I tell you. I'm not doing this the easy way. Manifold is now on, and I managed to pull the turbo up and just get that one bolt there loosely in. So what I'm going to do now, jack the car up, I'll have a look at it from underneath. Right then people, we are right under the car now. Right up there, I want to show you why you have to grind the block. So can you see that cardboard? Now I've put that in there just to make sure I got enough clearance. I'm going to pull that out so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I keep the light on, so if I pull that out now, hopefully you can see. Let me try and get the light up there. Let's put that there. Right, is that showing for you? Where you have to just do that bit of grind because they'll let the coal side housing. Now some have said they don't need to grind them, but looking at mine, I cannot see any way how you would manage to fit that turbo without taking a little bit off grinding that. So I don't know, because mine would have clearly hit, but we've got the thickness of that piece of cardboard anyway, and that's how much clearance we've got there. Right, so it's now the next day, and that's because I had a couple of delays yesterday, mainly being the gap between the turbo and the block that I showed you. Now, I sent that to Richard Morse, some of you might know him from the Fiesta scene, and he said about it could still touch when it expands. I don't know if it will or not, but it started in my mind thinking, and I thought, yeah, with everything expanding with heat, with the turbo still touch the block. So that played on my mind, and I thought, well, I got to increase that gap, but I didn't want to take everything off. So what I did was super glued some sandpaper to a knife. Started off with that. That was a little bit slow and tedious, but I thought, well, I've got to create a bigger gap. I want to double the size of the gap. But I've done it now, and it's up to about 5 mil, I guess. I ended up getting in there with a hacksaw blade, just slowly cutting a bigger gap because I didn't want to scuff up the turbo or nothing. And once I got that through, then I just finished off with a little file. I'll show you that in a minute when we get back under there, but the gap's now much bigger. Maybe unnecessary, but you know what it's like when someone's in your head, you're thinking, do it now, and then I'm going to worry about it. So where I'm at now is I'm ready to put the hot side pipe on. I already had an Rsport hot side, but you need to use this one with the kit, so we're going to get that on. When I'm under as well, I'll show you the bigger gap I've made. Right, so I don't know if you can see that from there, but the gap is definitely doubled to what it was. Camera's so close to my face I can't even focus on the back screen, but if I try and put it up there, can you see from up there? I don't know if you can, but that's what it is. Right, so that's it, hot sides on and clamped up. My rubber bang there's got a bit messed up, not going to sweat about that too much, but yeah, everything's pretty much done on there. Cat bracket is back on, and just in case any of you spot any weeping from there, I'm going to drive shaft leak. That's just with the coolant to run down. So I think I'm pretty much done all on there. Now we're ready to go up the top. Right, so I've just connected up the water pipes. I realise now though I could have put them on after. They didn't have to go on before, make my life more difficult. Don't know where that one's going to live and end up yet until the crossover's on. May have to do some work with that. The other side is fine and out of the way. I've now got the oil feed to do with the new washers on the bolt, so that's going to be a little bit, probably one of the trickier bits I would say, getting down there, but we'll get it done. Right, so I'm just using this little mirror now because I just want to make sure none of them washers, or really the bottom one, didn't fall up by the time I got the bolt in, because I was doing it a bit blind, but it is in. Right, it's all in there. There you are, now we should be able to see it. Right, so here's the dilemma I've got, right? I want to fit the heat shield, but I also want to check for leaks, and the heat shield needs to go on before the crossover and everything, and the car won't start and be able to check for leaks without the crossover on the intake. So I think what I'm going to have to do is fit all of the crossover and everything, run it up, check for leaks, and then strip it back off and get a heat shield on. I think that's the safest way to do it, I think. I've been staring at this pot for 5 minutes thinking, why have I got so many bolts left over? Do you ever do that? Right, so I'm starting to eliminate them now, because I am thinking, what have I forgotten? I've sussed out that these are from the water pipe, so that's that one. That one will be the other one, the other pipe, which is around here somewhere. I haven't worked out what that is yet. These two are from the downpipe. I've sussed that out, and 3 of these are for the heat shield. I know what them clips are for, I know what that's for. So really, it's down to these 2. I gotta try and work out where they're from. One of these might have been from the water pipe on the right hand side, but it's bugging me. I've got to suss it out. And do you know what? I've got something in my memory that was under the car from another job, but I really can't remember. But I can't settle until I find out where it's from. So that's the problem I got. Right, so there's 4 bolts on the heat shield. So that's them 4. Them 2 are covered. Yeah, that's them 4. So it's this one, and I seem to remember that was under the car from something else, and I chucked it in there. Now the reason I'm struggling is because it's probably close to a month since I took all this off, so I'm slowly getting there, but I'm not going to stress too much about that. We will have another good look under the car, but I think that was left over from something else. Shouldn't really have any bolts left over anyway. Let me tell you a little story, right? I was doing a fuel pump, high pressure fuel pump on my Nevu's BMW 135i last year, and I dropped a bolt. I had the intake off and everything, and I lost this bolt. I couldn't find it anywhere. Under the car, in the trays, I looked everywhere. And I got the point where I thought, I'll get another bolt, put everything back together and I'll be alright. But I started putting things together, I noticed that where it dropped, it was a pipe that led, it was the intake pipe that ran across the front of the radiator around to the turbo. And I thought, what if that bolt has gone in that pipe? Now it took me a while. I had to use a magnet on a stick down a pipe, and you know, I eventually found it and pulled it out. Those who understand cars realise how catastrophic that would have been had I started that engine with that bolt in there. It would have spun it through the turbo and I would have been in a lot of trouble. Now I keep forgetting to tell Ethan that story, so Ethan, if you're watching this video now, that's the first time you're hearing it. I almost ruined your BMW. I feel like it could be ready to start. I've put all of the crossover and pipes on. I haven't Jubilee clipped anything though, so I'm hoping that they'll seal enough just to get it idling. We'll soon find out if we have issues. Top the water up. I think that's everything. I'm going to double check everything one more time and then we'll see if it starts. Right, it's now time to start it, and I do feel like I must have forgot something, but I'm hoping I haven't. Plan is, I'll fire it up, let it run for a few seconds, I'll knock it off, check everything. It's mainly oil I'm concerned about, not the water flow. And I don't know what the water setup is like on this. Does the thermostat need to open before the turbo gets fed with water? I don't know. Let me know. So yeah, quick start, run for a few seconds, then knock it off. But then that's just assuming it starts. So let's give it a go.
Sync has connected to your phone and is reminding you of the emergency assistant.
Shut up. Tell you what's good for the winter, right? Is these bags catch all the moisture in the car, stop it getting mould. Anyway, right. Neutral. I'm a little bit worried now, but we gotta go for a dead battery. Can you believe it? How frustrating is that? Let's go and sort that out. Right. Switch the camera off, pressed it one more time and it started. Let's try it again for you. Something's not right. Something's not right. Whoa. Something's not happy. Is that battery or have I got a sensor off? That's weird. Last time I had it acting weird like this was when the sensor wasn't right. Sure. Let's try again. Is it battery or is it something weird? As ignition comes on fine. Clutch in. I'm going to keep trying because it did fire just now. No, I'm going to go and charge a battery. Let's try again. Oh, it was battery. Right, so I'm going to let that run now for 10 seconds. And we'll knock him off. So tempting to want to rev her up. Just remember we don't have no map yet. Right, so let's go and check all the oil lines. Right, I can't see any leaks down there, so the plan is now is to run it for longer, get up to temperature, and then when I know it's definitely fine, then I can put everything back as it should be. Right, so I feel confident enough now to let it run for a little bit. So at first I didn't want to get out of the car, I want to stay in there so I could just do a 10-second run. Like now I'm confident enough to check it all over and make sure everything's fine. So everything sounds good, sounds normal. So let's get up the temperature and see how it goes. Right, so as you can see we're burning off some oil from the manifold. on the turbo. So I sprayed some WD-40 on the manifold after I'd done the porting. Just bare metal inside, so I sprayed up a WD-40 to stop the rusting up. So some would have gone over the outside of the manifold, and obviously my fingers and everything, and little leaks from me taking bits off and bits running out of the turbo and everything. So yeah, that's pretty normal, so nothing to worry about. No dashboard lights. So far so good. Manifold heat shield's on and that fits perfect. So that is it complete. Everything's back on, well, except for the paneling and the headlights, but I'll do that off camera. But we're all set back up. As you saw, heat shield's on, everything's checked, double checked, all looking good. And I probably haven't showed you, I fitted a catch can. Bought this second hand off someone, and the good thing about it, so I was going to make up my own kit, and I actually bought a cheap can. But why I bought this kit was he had all the proper cord connectors there and there, and the extra pipe. So I didn't need to cut into or use my standard pipe, because that if ever I get any breathing issues now or have any problems, I can have the hose on me, quickly put that in and solve any problems. But yeah, so that's all done pretty much. I think that is it for this episode. Next time we get on to the mapping, talk more about that in the next video. But for now, thanks for watching. Do it for Dale. Freaking see you later.